to market on close. Shares of Las Vegas Sands shot up nearly 13% today after its third quarter earnings. The company reported a profit of $419 million. Revenue rose 24.2% to $3.3 billion, ahead of analyst estimates calling for $3.05 billion. The company also noted recent investments in Macau and Singapore were paying off. Shares are now up 90% from their April lows. And because of that, and because of this report, we're going to highlight them in Options Corner today. Joining us, of course, Rick Ducat, our lead market technician here on Schwab Network, to talk all things Las Vegas Sands. Very interesting, Las Vegas Sands with Las Vegas in its name, but its business is not in Las Vegas, just its headquarters.
Yeah, for sure. And really, I thought this was up a lot when it was up only 10% here. But even with this large move today, still up only relatively modestly during the past year, underperforming not only the S&P, but also the consumer discretionary sector as a whole. If we were to think about the gaming sector in general here, it's really a mixed bag here. Up until yesterday, LVS was pretty much smack in the middle along with Penn, but we can see Wynn and Boyd both having perhaps a sympathy move today, so showing some further strength there. But MGM and Caesars in particular, really struggling by this measure here. So an interesting day to be sure for this particular sector.
Very interesting for the sector as we look more specifically just at Las Vegas Sands, though, especially because they don't have a domestic component to their business. What does their chart tell us and what's it showing us, particularly in this sort of, I mentioned, off of the April lows, you can see a pretty hard move to the upside there.
Yeah, we had a bit of a pullback so far after this consolidation phase shortly after earnings. Then we had our push to the upside. Our low came in right around several of these old highs back here. So that gives us our light green line here near 46. That came into focus once again recently, about two and a half weeks ago or so. We saw that was a low point before a significant bounce to the upside. For now, though, we remain stuck at another key horizontal point here. 50-50 is our second lighter green line here, high point, and then subsequent low points after the gap up in terms of our close and the following intraday low. That's where we were yesterday. Today, then, we have found ourselves at yet another of these key horizontal points, the old highs here. 57.71 was our best close. We couldn't quite break that level here, but still a very strong showing and a breakout to the upside from this downward sloping channel. The lows of today, 53.85.
Yeah, 53.85 right now, 57.14, so a little higher than that. Also, with it being up 13%, still the top performer on the S&P 500 today for Las Vegas Sands. With that being said, and this sort of unexpectedly strong performance, what are we seeing in terms of options activity today?
Yeah, I did want to mention one quick thing, too. 11 price target raises from analysts today. The biggest one was from J.P. Morgan, 270 from 60, up 16.7%. So really seems like very positive showing here so far. But as we said, for the options market today, the sizzle 3.3, so heavier trading activity versus the 5-day moving average here. We can see that in terms of the volume, about 40,000 options total, 41,000. The split between calls and puts was about 70-30 in favor of the calls here. And the areas for the expected move for November line up with some pretty interesting points as well. If you recall, we had our high points here near 57.71. We had our low points here near 46. We can see that when we do apply some of our other studies here, we've moved beyond our point of control and our +1 channel here. And then when we add in our expected move, we can see that that low point pretty much aligns here with our moving averages that we follow and that 50-50 level that we mentioned. So that's where things would start to thin out in terms of the expected move here. To the upside, our +2 standard deviation channel is quite close. 61.18 is where that one comes in. 8.6% expected move plus or minus.
And as far as weighting of calls to puts, with the 11 upgrades in terms of analyst action, are we seeing it more heavily weighted towards calls today?
Yeah, more heavily toward calls. Open interest for November, too, is two-thirds calls versus puts for the most part here, pretty much in line with the overall perspective as well. In terms of the call range for this upcoming month here, the highest level, 57.50, was the standout point, but pretty much the range 47.50 to 60. The low point for the put side, much narrower, 42.50 to 55, with 50 being the standout level. One interesting trade I saw, minus 450 March 20th, 47.5 calls at a 1090 credit. So that equates to about a $490,000 credit received there. We're not really sure for sure if it's an open or closing trade, but given that they're selling deep in the money calls, seems it's probably a closing trade.
Yeah, certainly, but a very strong day for Las Vegas Sands, top performer on the S&P 500, trading up about 13% right now on the heels of their earnings after the close yesterday.